If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Nick, you've got 5 minutes. You're on the clock. Do some sports radio.
All right, I want to thank you first for having me here. I'm very excited to be coming to you guys live from WNST. I'm also very excited about the start to the 2009 Orioles season that Baltimore has had. They've took the first 2 series at home from AL East competitors, which is even better, knocking off the Rays, and of course taking 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. You can never go wrong there. The excitement in the yard has also been great to see. Some of the fans have come back showing some passion, especially on opening day. I love to see the 48,000 folks that came out just to torment, pester, and harass Mark Teixeira. I know some of the national media has gotten on us here in Baltimore for doing that, maybe thinking it was kind of classless, but not me. I think it was awesome. I think it really showed that Baltimore fans still passionately care about the Orioles. They just need something to care about. You don't come out and you don't treat a player that way unless you really do care about your franchise and the fact he didn't come here. And I'm here today to try to convince you that the Orioles are on their way back. May not happen this year because, let's face it, the pitching depth isn't quite ready yet. We still got some youngsters away, but, you know, Major League's not quite ready to compete, and the talent's not there. Offensively, it looks like it might be, though. But for you non-believers out there, let me try to convince you by starting where the problems began. We briefly talked about, you know, Peter Angelos and what he's done, but he really was what kind of caused problems here for the Orioles. He came in the mid-90s and took over ownership of the team, and at that time, there was a way the Orioles conducted business. They drafted well, they developed well, they brought them to the major leagues with fundamentals that started in single-A ball and all through the minor league affiliates straight to the big league club. Players came ready to compete in a fundamentally effective way, and that was the Oriole way of doing baseball. Peter Angelos came and outwent the Oriole way, and in came the Peter way, I guess you could say. And 96, 97 were 2 successful seasons, but after 97, Angelos let his ego get in the way as he ran Davey Johnson out of town and brought a yes man and Ray Miller in to coach the 98 Orioles. They came in with some high expectations in 98, but they floundered right from the start and were never really competitive and out of the race. That year, they were a veteran-laden team that had several people that were going into free agency after the year and all but certainly were going to leave. Come the trading deadline, the front office really had an opportunity to trade some of these people away and get some young talent back into Baltimore's system that would really re-energize and really help develop what was an old franchise, frankly, at that point. But they chose not to. They tried to hold on to the hopes that the old guys would continue to turn it around somehow and magically make the playoffs, but that never happened. We all saw they basically folded after the trading deadline, and sure enough, end of 2000, or rather end of 1998, the veterans leave, go sign elsewhere, and we have nothing to show for it. The only thing we really had was some draft picks, 7 of the first 50 that year, in fact, and that could have been a good catalyst if the front office knew what they were doing, but sure enough, they did not. Of the first 6 picks they had that year, only 1 ever played substantial time for the Baltimore Orioles, and that was Larry Bigby, not exactly an all-star there. That really hurt. We missed out on guys like Alex Rios, Justin Morneau, John Lackey, and Carl Crawford to get players that never even tasted the field at Camden Yards. That was kind of the theme during this period, as in 1998 and 2000, not one draft pick the Orioles had ever played a Major League game. That is not the Oriole way of doing business. From 98 to 2001, only 4 players, including Larry Bigby, ever made it from the Orioles draft development stages to the big league stages at Camden Yards. I feel as though things have changed. 2 years ago, Andy MacPhail came in and took over for this franchise and came in with the agreement that Peter Angelos would step back, let baseball people make baseball decisions. So far, Peter Angelos has agreed to that and has kept his word, and Andy MacPhail has done a good job of turning this franchise around, in my opinion. He was able to rid the team of some veterans like Tejada and Hernandez, and of course Bedard, where we were able to rob the Mariners of their farm system and get talents like, in my opinion, a potential future Hall of Famer in center field in Adam Jones, a frontline starter, Chris Tillman, and George Sherrill, our current closer. Another important move, I feel, at the time was Joe Jordan. They brought him in as the Director of Amateur Scouting. For those of you who don't know his history, he came from the Florida Marlins. Historically, a great drafting and development team. They just have issues with the financial aspect after they develop. Well, the Orioles have the financial ability to succeed if they can just draft and develop well. So far, the last 2 drafts have been some of the more successful ones that they've had, bringing in the likes of Arrieta, Madison, Wieters. Well, that's all the time that I have for today. I thank you for listening to me. Check out my blog on WNST, and now I'll send you back to your host, Nasty One, Nestor Aparicio.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.